Visual see what the talk of town is going down. The wind, the curve. You heard me. Let me just set this up real quick. All right, we Gucci now. Now, for those who are curious, yesterday I did drop a new battle rap reaction on the other channel. If you guys want to scope it out, Fire Tracks. You know, individuals came with the A game. You know, we got Northerners and Southerners battling over there in Spanglish, English and Spanish. They definitely brought their skills, so I recommend that battle rap reaction if you guys want to scope that out. And on this channel, yesterday I did put out, or was it the day before yesterday? I put out the G series back, so it's back now. On this channel, you guys scope it out. The first video was dropped yesterday. And I did make a playlist for those who are interested in videos surrounding those topics. You guys can find them in the playlist. It would be under the G Files playlist. To make it a lot easier. But yes, this is where we'll be bringing the series now. And yes, it is back. So you guys should be expecting those. Along with the everyday, normal content. And like I said, on the other channel, we are still dropping the battle reactions and did, bring Fuego game yesterday. I was actually digging the tracks. And as a matter of fact, it's because of that battle rap reaction I did that I dropped a new video on this channel that will be coming up later on today regarding the matters of Chicanos rapping or Mexicans or Cholos or whatever, right? Seen a channel had came and gave their 2 cents, and I'm giving my take now on my point of view on the matter. You gotta scope out some 36 Mexican rap. ¿Se avientan o qué pedo? No, I know that there's some just puro rap en español. I know there's vatos out there that get down, you know what I mean? Hasta hay como música que es como like corrido rap, sort of. There's some individuals that do that. Like Lalo Serrano and ¿cómo se llama el otro camarada? Oscar something or algo así. He's the one that did the rap, the Florence one, the Callejón algo, 86 or 85 or something like that. Shit, even Duende did a corrido rap. I forgot what it was called. It's one that he did not even that long ago. But I know that there's several individuals that they get down. They have several tracks to them. Like Vilocote, the Cholotes have a rhyme. Puro crucito. Puro loco pandando. A su puta madre. Cálmense, por favor. Y lejos se dice censura. Osito, osito. Y be like, Crucito, you made me look like a cholo. Like, bro, does not look like a cholo. Relax. Mr. Pasa is definitely up in the casa for the raza. ¿Qué onda, carnal? ¿Qué dice la buena vida? ¿A toda madre o un desmadre? Madre, that means mother, right? He's like, it goes a lot deeper than that. No, it doesn't. Relax. Like, my guy, it is not that deep. Stop. Like, bro, chill, man. It ain't that deep. No diddy. I know I be seeing that the yarda is getting, the YouTube yarda is getting muy caliente, como dijo el camarada en American Me. Muy caliente. ¿Qué está pasando con todos? Se ponen pedos y empiezan a gritar y llorar. Got myself some new earphones. gonna be great. That's right, my boy. Shit, I got mine at Didi's. I think I paid, no lie, I think I paid like $7.99 for them. Maybe less. Maybe I paid $5.99. I'm not sure. Maybe $7.99, $5.99 por ahí. For at Didi's. And shit, they work good, bro. Sound clean. I've been having it for a while. I haven't fucked up. You know, fucking they charge. I could track them. I mean, I really don't see what the iPhone earphone or earbuds, the iPhone earbuds, I don't understand what they do different to have the price of like $400 when my shits cost $7 and they do the exact same thing. Shit, I want to say they even sound like louder and clearer. I ain't even lying. Some of the homies at the Holly be like, oh, but those are knockout, they're bootleg. Like, so fool, they work better than yours, and you paid $400. I get ripped off, my boy. I paid $7.99 for these shits. Con taxes. Ah. No, serio, I did, like with taxes. Like, and they work perfectly fine, bro. It's like $7, bro. I paid for these motherfuckers. At Didi's. I really don't understand why people pay so much money for some other shit that's like, but what exactly does it do though? Like for that price though, this is insane. I understand maybe if it does something else, but it doesn't. So it's like, that's odd. My bug is definitely up in the building. Love you, baby. Have you seen the old hood videos with rap on YouTube? Have you seen old hood videos with rap on YouTube? What do you mean with rap on YouTube? Thoughts on rappers? DMX rap skills? DMX definitely had skills. He definitely, people digged his aggressive style. You know what I mean? And more because he really was like, kind of like putting himself out how he rapped. So I think people liked the fact that he was like genuine. Thoughts on more rain. It's on its way. Serio, they say it's about to rain otra vez for the New Year's. Trying to fuck up all of the holidays. It's on a roll right now. I got myself a hat with the me black and gold. So from it for Christmas it's full. Sorry, but it feels like I should run. Can't need so I. What the fuck? Eso es todo, camarada. I know which one you're talking about. Like the I think I've seen those hats that have like the black guys written on them. You can even find like Dodger ones and Raider ones and Lakers and shit like that. There was a video from. Oh, serio? The video was Firmes. Oh, serio? Orale. There was also a no, he was Armenian? Oh shit. Like rapping or what? Like rapeaban los camaradas o qué pedo? Oh, yeah, I have seen them. Some of them have popped out on my ¿cómo se llama? On my feed. Simón. Where they're rapping, no? Like they'll have somebody from those barrios rapping, no? Some of them get down, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Some of them vatos have skills. No lie. Like, too bad que no le echaron ganas. Porque hay unos güeyes que sí se avientan. Ghetto Boys has the best videos. Oh, no, but see, Ghetto Boys, the individual, ¿cómo se llama? Silent? I think that's his name. He's been doing it for a while, and I know this because I remember back in the days, I had bought a cassette from that vato. Right here in Los Angeles, in the Callejones. You know, I bumped into him, y me vendió un cassette, right? And I remember putting it on, y el vato se aventó. Chingon tracks. And this was back then, homie, and the vato had a lot of skills, but like, I don't know, like, nunca sacó like an album or nothing like that, right? I don't know if I think he said he was busted or something like that, right? And then he came out y ya empezó otra vez a hacer música. No, but the individual, even back then, he had skills, bro. One of the best, one of the best raps I heard to the beat. ¿Cómo se llama? The beat. Gangsters make the world go round. You know, to that beat, se la aventó el camarada. Have you ever watched the Shrek movies? Yeah, Simon. My kids love those. Rap, he's back in the whoops. He's back in the States now. He does Hollywood. Oh, serio? Oh shit. I really sorry. With a white plate and it's look so legit and the he's kinda look like Kelly. So down so I like one. Órale, órale, I figure. There's not Hollywood boys. No, local I think has old videos on. Yeah, yeah, I know. I seen that video. I haven't seen the No Hollywood Boys one though, or the Locals. I think I seen the 18th Street one. I'm not too sure. Eddie Murphy is the donkey. Yeah, Simon. Eddie Murphy is the donkey, and Austin Powers is Shrek. No, I just. I'm sorry. No, no, yeah, I got the joke. No, yeah, I got the whole premise behind it. Some people from these lost press the line. I was totally saying I should. No, no, yeah, I got the joke. I understood the joke in what you were saying. Yeah, like kind of saying like, oh, because you have the hat that you must be Raza, because they act like if the hat's their style or belongs to them. No, I get it. Which is a trip because I have never wore a hat like that, and I have never seen none of my homies with a hat like that, so I don't know. It's a trip. But yeah, there's some individuals I get what you mean though. Kind of like if you're wearing Cortezes, they think that automatically you eres de barrio, and it's like, what the fuck does it have to do with the clothes? Does not make the gangster, right? Just because they're wearing Cortezes. Cortezes don't belong to the fucking cholos, right? They don't belong to Southerners. They adopted the Chicano estilo. They didn't create the estilo. Does not belong to them. If you watch the Seinfeld show, if you look at George Costanza, he's wearing Cortezes in all the episodes. Does that mean he's a cholo? Te pasan de verga, ¿no? Yeah. In the Hoovers. Oh, from the Hoovers, huh? 18th Street Hoovers or the Black Hoovers? Because there's two Hoovers. You have the Hoover Locals, which is a clique from the 18th. Then you have the actual Hoover criminals. That's the Black Gang. Little Cuetitas Hollywood too. He was on the show. Oh, Cuete Yesca. Yeah, Cuete Yesca. Not only he has several, like he plays in several movies, like low budget movies though, like straight to DVD. But the vato comes out in a few movies. Pues dijo el güey que quiere ser actor, ¿no? Pues que le vaya bien. That other vato too, the one, what's his name, Baby Joker from Charlie Rowe. Doesn't he come out in Law and Order? Right, the baby, yeah, I think he does. Or some kind of crime thriller show like that. And he also came out in the movie, fucking, what's that movie? The police one, the End of Watch. He came out in End of Watch. He was like one of the main cholo guys in End of Watch. Y él de verdad sí era cholo, No como los otros que nomás puro pechén. Nah, not all of them. Because, I mean, Hector is from a technically. El Hector, hey Hector. It can be just repping the city that, or even if it's no, yeah, I feel you. Hey, Salvadorians are raza too. ¿Quién dice que no? You still see him in the background. The scene they shot. Oh, that's crazy. I wonder why. It is also on how you wear it. No. Look, put it like this. A guy out there could be bald, with lokes, wearing a fucking white tee with baggy khaki dickies and Cortezes. But just because he looks like that doesn't mean that he's a gangster or he's a cholo. Just all that clothes, he could even talk like firme, a toda madre, but that does not make him a cholo or a gangster. What's going to make him a gangster is when you tell, hey, where are you from? And if he's from somewhere, that's what makes him the gangster. The fact that he's actually from a gang. He's actually a cholo. He's from an actual barrio. That's what makes a person the gangster. Not the fucking clothes, not the lingo, not the way he talks and walks. That's the misconception that everybody gets. Like, all that shit don't mean shit, though. Like, you could be tattooed from head to toe. Doesn't make him a gangster either, bro. Is he from an actual gang? That's what's going to make him a gangster. Gang is actually, where you from, your mentality and your heart, not being in lingo. Oh, yeah. Forrest Gump also had Nike Cortezes. Example también. Otra. Like being like, oh, well, that's not how Chicanos are, or that doesn't, they're not Chicanos. And it's like, how do you know what a Chicano is, bro? Like, you can't just tell off the bat. Like, for example, Cesar Chavez, if you go look at all the protests, all the movement, all the empowerments from Cesar Chavez and all the rallies that they did, all of them individuals right there are Chicanos. That's what they're pushing, the Chicano movement. You don't see them with flannels and Ben Davis, pero son Chicanos. You know what I mean? Come on now, I think somewhere along the line, people started confusing or blurring the lines of, they started thinking that Southerners is Chicanos, but it's not what it is. Like, because not all Southerners are Chicanos either, right? They don't all brand themselves as Chicanos. Black Hoovers and all right, I figure. What liquor store would always go in? Whatever. Like, what liquor store would we go to? India's. That was the name of the liquor store, the India's liquor store. But then, the liquor store shut down, just like Sirloin Burgers. También está el 7-Eleven. También the gas station on Hart. Then you have the 7-Eleven on Vanoan. But before it was always India's because pues, más cerquitas, and it was easy to steal from there. George, he had Serio. I just Ali has almost cited the no joke. Is Rose Hill and Lowell Street still around? Rose Hill's still around. Lowell Street, they do have some youngsters, right? But you really don't see them up that much. But I know that they exist because they have reached out to me. I just didn't. I didn't bother to, you know, correlate the conversation because of their situation. As a matter of fact, even when that guy was on YouTube, the big bad guy, even he had talked about that and how there was still some youngsters and stuff like that, right? Before he ended up, you know, the situation that happened to him. Hey, but that's kind of, that's the risk you take when you come online, bro. Especially in situations. But you should be grateful that he's still alive, though, or that he survived. What about Oppo? Oppo's still around, and I know this because I see their graffiti. And I know it's not old graffiti because they paint those walls, and obviously they write over them again, so they're still around. Well, Serrano and Lincoln Heights are part of Nella. Yes, they are. They are literally like the heart of Nella. Even though that's already starting the east side, though, but from that end, and what's considered the 18th Street, the east side 18th Street. I remember the bootleg Cortezes. I remember the bootleg Cortezes. There was several of them. I think even what's the name of that fucking that shoe brand had dropped some bootleg Cortezes. Lugs? Was that what they were called? Lugs? I think that's the name of the brand. Lugs. Not Uggs. Lugs. And I think they had dropped some bootleg. And they had like the Lugs symbol, the L, like in Old English. There's a video of a young in the street. He had a Cortez. He was also. Yeah, bro. Like when you coming up, bro, a lot of people had Payless shoes. Like it was whatever you were able to afford, bro. Like back then, people didn't have the luxury que podían comprar lo que ellos querían. You know what I mean? It was whatever was cheap and whatever fit you. You know what I mean? Fucking gente no tenía feria así, para que estar comprando ropa. You know what I mean? Like how these now modern day individuals were. Back then, bro, it was rough, bro. It was. I remember having to no había cinto, so we would have to use extension cords or bolsas. We'll tie the bags. Yeah, bro, that's how it used to be. The fake Converse, the Airwalkers from Payless, we would have those. And then when individuals used to clown in school, we would have to, puros tazos. Yeah, bro. That's how we would get up. That's how we used to get in trouble all the damn time. Because vatos used to try to clown, and then we would have to handle action. And then get in trouble by the jefa, that why are we fighting in school? And it's like, you said to not let myself, and if anybody hits me, to hit back. That's what I did. So why am I getting in trouble now for listening to your advice? Pues que se les entiende. You know what I mean? ¡Ta madre! Uno les hace caso todavía que están chingando. Pues está cabrón, ¿no? How are we able to win? Who made the original Charlie Browns? The original Charlie Browns were made by Counties. County was the brand. They made pants too. And I still have my Counties. You can still buy them online, but they're expensive, bro. That shit jumped the price like a la verga. Shit. Like, ¿cuánto? Ay, güey. No mames. Back then, it used to be cheap. Oh, yeah. I remember those también. Hey, what's good, Thunder Loco? Yeah, Chicanos and Cholos are two different things. Facts, bro. But people started confusing or blurring the lines, or I don't know. La gente se pasan. Like they think, like for example, like the ones that have like car clubs, right? Like the ones that have like car clubs, even though some of them are gangsters, some of them are from barrios. Not all of them. A majority of them are not from gangs, right? But everybody calls them mira esos cholos or look at those cholos. Like cholos, right? They're not. They're into low riders. They like cars. They're not cholos. What barrio are they from? They don't bang. You know what I mean? Come on now. It's that simple. But it's just like people, the gente, they brand everybody a cholo. Everybody's a cholo, bro. Even like if they're rockeros with tattoos, they just see the tattoos. They mira esos cholos. Cuando pinches vatos son rockeros or stoners, you know, have no gang ties, never banged a day in their life. You know? Cholos go to. No, well, okay. Like for example, mira, back in the days, we're a little bit more knuckleheads, right? So when we used to go to like the Chicano rappers, they used to have like shows, right? When they would have shows, whether it was Little Cuete or King Little G or whoever, right? But we used to go to those, right? Me, the homies, las viejas y todo el pedo, right? We would start banging on everybody up in that bitch, bro. And a lot of fools, they look like they were hardly anybody banged there, bro. Nobody was from barrios there. I mean, there was some, but few. A majority of people were not gangster at all. Just people that like the estilo or like the rolas. You know what I mean? But like I said, it doesn't make them cholos. Like I said, I have homies that people look at them, they're like, "Oh, that he's not a gangster, right?" Like, no, yeah, he's from my neighborhood. Like, what he is? He doesn't look like it. I'm like, no, but no, he's not because he doesn't look like it. That's not what makes him the cholo, bro. All right, you don't get to decide. It's because they in car clubs and they show anybody could be a cholo. Not everyone could be Chicano. Well, depending. Because Chicano, this is one thing that the biggest misconception when it comes to the Chicano movement. The Chicano movement, when they were protesting, pushing the line, pushing the fight, even when it comes to like the brown berets, right? When people were out there protesting in behalf of the Chicano movement and what is considered Chicano, it wasn't only Mexicans, although Mexicans were the ones that got it together, right? They were the ones that rallied it together. Not all the support group was Mexicans. You had Salvadorians, Guatemalans, Hondurans, and even Filipinos. A strong support of Filipinos for that matter. So that was the heart and soul of the Chicano rallies and movements, and even with the brown berets. You get what I mean? So it wasn't just like they were fighting in behalf of those who knew what Chicano was, right? The ones that you're stuck in the middle ground because you weren't considered fully from your land because people from your land didn't see you as fully Mexican because you're not a Mexican citizen. Only those who are born in Mexico could be considered Mexican because you're a Mexican citizen. If you're saying you're Mexican, well, where's your birth certificate? It doesn't say Mexican, so how can you be Mexican, right? So they come with that bullshit. Then here in America, you're saying you're American, but Americans don't consider you American because of how you look, right? So they're like, you're not American, you're Mexican. Well, they're not. So you're not accepted here, you're not accepted there, so you're stuck in the middle ground, right? So these people felt unaccepted by neither side, so they created their own, right? Then I'm Chicano. You get me? They created their own type of music and lingo and clothing and their own identities, right? And those who could identify with that, that type of way of life was embraced by being Chicano. You get what I mean? But then somehow along the way, people that have egos, right, wanted to now put lines like, no, you have to be this because I say so. You know what I mean? Because like, let's say they're proud of being like, let's say for example, if it's a Mexican, they're proud of being Mexican and what? No, you have to be Mexican. You get what I mean? But that's just because it's that person's ego and pride that's getting invested, and not because that's actually what it was, right? Because if you the history doesn't say that. The history says otherwise, as a matter of fact. And I know this because when I did the interview on the Brown Berets and the whole history, I had interviewed some of those individuals. Not only did you have cholos, but you had individuals that were teachers, and not just regular. I mean, teachers that even taught at the UCLA, so like at universities. You had just everyday workers. You had scholars. You had criminals, right? But everyone was fighting for the same thing, though. And not just here, but even in other locations, right? Where they even had it more rough when they were being targeted. To the point where the cities weren't even picking up the garbage from some of these areas where where a lot of like raza lived, right? So what happened was that these movements started going and collecting the trash themselves and doing the work themselves, in behalf of the neighborhood, that were being mistreated against because of their culture. Oh yeah, this conversation goes deep, bro. No, 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 no. Originally, that's what I'm saying. The original base of it were the Mexicans, right? They were the ones that came up with the push, the line. Like they were the ones that were like, we have to fight this injustice. We have to battle and not let ourselves. They were the heart. The base of it were Mexicans, but to say that they were all Mexicans wasn't true either, right? Because then that's when they got the support of Guatemalans, Hondurans, Guatemaltecos, and everything else. You know what I mean? And Filipinos. Because when you see them out there, and natives too, Native Americans, don't let me forget Native Americans. So to say that it was only a Mexican movement, right, or Mexican push, because if that would have been the case, that they would have just labeled it the Mexican push or the Mexican power, the Mexican movement. You know what I mean? But they chose to go with Chicano instead because they were not all Mexicans. You get what I mean? And I have talked to old as individuals from the Brown Berets. Old. I mean, old. But yeah, the original ones, yeah, they were Mexicans. They were Mexicans, right? But the beat of the drum, the how can I say, the force, the strength in the numbers were not all Mexicans though, especially at those times. You know what I mean? Because look, think of it like this. Mexican was an empire. Mexico was an empire before. Mexico was an empire, the Mexican Empire. The Mexican people extended from what's beyond what's now the borders, right? So we're talking about from all the way from Oregon all the way down to Peru, right? Was all considered Mexico before. These were all our people, right? And as time went by and establishment started being made and people didn't like how certain people were running stuff and they didn't like how they were doing things. Remember, borders, but what our borders are imaginary. Those lines are imaginary. They really don't exist. What stops from Mexico to Salvador, from Salvador to Guatemala, from Honduras, all of those shits are all imaginary. They really don't exist. So it was all one thing. We're all one people. We all come from the same indigenous tribes. We were all the same. But like I said, in time, lines started getting drawn and people started breaking off and doing their own thing and establishing their own governments. Now, when people say, that's the reason why if you put them all in one room and just looking at them without them speaking, you can't tell who's Mexican, who's Salvadorian, who's Guatemalan. You can't tell. It's all the same. Now, when people say, well, how come we have different customs? How come they have an accent to when they speak compared to others? Simple. How do you have individuals from Oklahoma, those white people from Oklahoma, they don't sound like the white people from California. They have an accent to them. They use certain words that these white people don't use, right? So and the way they cook and eat their food, they have different customs, different, accents, but they're all Americans, right? But when you're talking about a big vast of land in between and human interaction and how we get, how we, pick up certain things from like the people that we associate with, the people that we interact with, right? You start picking up these habits, right? That's the reason why some customs and some of the lingo may be different, but that doesn't mean because we're different people though, because we all used to be one though. So to try to exclude them that they're not raza, and it's so well, that's not right though, because we were all the same people though. But I think it's people wanting to like make their like, because I'm Mexican, I want us to be numero uno, or we're the responsible ones, or we're I want us to take the credit. You know what I mean? But that would be my pride, because of my pride. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my lunch break is over though. Hey, it was good chopping it up with you guys. Hey, I like this conversation, and we out.